So when you guys plan fun activities, does my name even come up, or?
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the times The Big Bang Theory's resident comic book store owner simply couldn't catch the break we all wished him to have.
Can't catch a break.
Number 10. He's the last to know about Bernadette's pregnancy. The celebration experimentation. When the gang celebrates the news that Howard and Bernadette are going to be parents, there's one friend who's notably absent. Now, the expecting parents are totally entitled to tell whoever they want, whenever they want. However, in this case, it seems like in all their excitement and nerves, Stuart just slipped their minds.
Thank you so much for helping us, Stuart.
Oh, I was just glad to be invited. To be honest, I don't always feel like I'm part of the group.
Okay, sweetie, we're on the clock here. Can you hate yourself and Frost at the same time?
However, that doesn't make it any less painful for him to overhear the happy news from Barry Kripke, of all people.
And how is the waiting mommy-to-be?
Doing great.
You're pregnant?
Yeah.
Sounds like something a member of the group might know.
Poor Stuart. He's good enough to help prepare Sheldon's birthday cake, but barely even an afterthought in his friend's important milestones. Most of us will know how gut-wrenching it is to feel invisible. We see you, Stuart.
Sheldon, I've spent most of my life feeling invisible, but having you and everyone...
Hey, everybody, listen up! You nailed it.
Number 9. Facing his mean comic book store rival. The occupation recalibration. Stuart's comic book store might not have a swanky coffee machine and tempting scone spread, but we've got to applaud his commitment to exceptional customer service. When Bernadette urgently needs to replace one of Howard's comic books, Stuart takes her to the only store that stocks it. It just happens to be owned by his mean, condescending rival, Jesse.
My hair's exactly the same color as always.
No, I was talking about your skin.
Look, my friend here needs a comic book.
Oh, and she went into your store by mistake. Good thing there was no one there to see her.
Spotting his old clientele hanging around the joint only rubs salt in the wound. Anyway, Jesse's needlessly hurtful, and if we were in Bernadette's shoes, we'd likely have walked out too.
Espresso, latte?
No thanks.
How about you, Stu? Mocha, scone, directions to the nearest soup kitchen?
Hey!
Oh, I'm just kidding. He knows where the soup kitchen is.
We probably wouldn't have snuck back later behind Stuart's back though. Okay, maybe for a muffin, but we wouldn't have been able to enjoy it half as much.
You want a latte while you wait?
No, I don't want a latte. I want a cappuccino and a blueberry scone.
I only have chocolate chip.
Well, that sounds even better.
Number 8. Getting stood up by the gang. The mummy observation. Stuart typically doesn't get invited to group activities, but in this case, Raj needed a victim for his murder mystery party. And well, we guess Stuart fit the bill.
You can't leave. You're a suspect in the mysterious murder of Stuart Bloom.
I didn't know his last name was Bloom.
Yeah, it's Bloom.
Meanwhile, Raj assigns the rest of the gang character cards, which ends up causing a bit of friction between Penny and Leonard. Stuart ends up restoring peace to the group, albeit upsetting Amy and Bernadette in the process.
20 years, who knows what'll happen with any of us?
I think you and Leonard will be together.
You do?
Yeah, I think you're the best couple I know.
That's so sweet.
Excuse me?
Later, as the group reflects on their friendship, they make a promise that no matter where life takes them, they'll reunite in 20 years.
Let's all promise to meet in front of this building exactly 20 years from tonight at 8 p.m. and have dinner like we always do.
Aw, I love it.
Putting it in my phone right now.
Yeah, me too.
While everyone sets calendar reminders, except Stuart, guess who's the only one who shows up? Yep, you got it, Stuart.
I know it.
Number 7. Stuart dresses up for the Game of Thrones viewing party. The viewing party combustion. It's one thing not to invite Stuart as an oversight, but it's another to include him only to humiliate him. When the guys host a Game of Thrones viewing party, pretty much everyone ends up at odds. But then Stuart shows up and we learn Howard deliberately misled him over the dress code.
Was it ever a dress-up party? No. Howard, didn't you tell me it was a dress-up party?
Yeah.
Luckily, Penny's apartment offers sanctuary for those frustrated with Howard. As if Stuart hasn't been through enough already, the guys continue to mock him as he mounts his bicycle to head back home.
Hey, Jon Snow! How come your horse has a basket on it?
How come your hat has your face on it?
At this point, their taunts just seem unnecessarily cruel.
Don't you guys have anything better to do?
Better than watching a guy in a fur cloak ride a girl's bike? Nope.
Also, public service announcement, capes and bicycle wheels don't mix. Poor Stuart. Number 6. He could have been rich. The Bitcoin Entanglement. In this episode, the guys end up on a wild goose chase looking for the flash drive containing the Bitcoin they mined years ago. Hearing that there's a decent amount of money involved, Stuart tries to get in on the action.
Wow, and at like $5,000 a piece? That's...
Sounds like a lot of money, which we agreed to share, because I was totally there. I remember now.
But before anyone can discuss splitting this fortune, firstly, they have to find it. But thanks to Sheldon's vengefulness, no one profits from this experience, although one person comes very close.
It's on the Batman flash drive on your keychain. You've had it in your pocket all along.
Sheldon, I lost that keychain years ago.
In a final flashback, we see Stuart sweeping the floor in his store. When what should he stumble upon? We can't bear to picture his devastation if he ever were to find out about the fortune he erased.
If I erase this, I could probably resell it for like $10. Things are finally going my way.
Number 5. Penny calls him by the wrong name. The classified materials turbulence. Remember when Stuart's impressive art skills scored him a date with Penny? We weren't sure if anything would bloom between them, especially when Leonard, driven by jealousy, offers Stuart some lousy advice.
You know, be a little shy. Don't make too much eye contact. And, treat her with, like, cool detachment and fear.
Turns out fate didn't need Leonard to intervene anyway. How would you feel if your partner called out the wrong name mid-kiss?
Leonard?
That is your name, right?
Yeah. Wow, I'm sorry. That must have been the last thing you wanted to hear.
Yikes. His romantic woes continue when he goes out with Amy, hitting a new low when she and Sheldon advance their relationship during the date. Talk about a cosmic collision of bad luck. Luckily, his fortunes start to change when he meets Denise. Orange you glad she finally brought some zest into his romantic life? We know we are.
Hey, maybe we can go find Nemo together.
That's a good one.
Do your 63 other crayon friends know you're out?
Are you just gonna make fun of me all night?
Probably.
Great.
Number 4. Howard takes issue with his new living arrangement. The hookup reverberation. At the end of season 7, with no job and nowhere to live, Stuart takes a live-in carer role at Mrs. Woolwitz's home while she's recovering from a fall. However, even when she's all better, she welcomes him to stay since they've developed such a tight bond.
Stuart's still living with your mom?
I don't want to talk about it.
But he's going to.
My mom got him cable! I mean, my whole life growing up in that house, no cable.
This irks Howard, who's both uncomfortable with the arrangement and enraged that he's no longer his mum's only bubbler.
He's got my mother buying 4-ply toilet paper. I mean, 4-ply! His butt is so delicate, why doesn't he just use an Angora rabbit?
But be reasonable, Howard. The guy hit rock bottom. He lost everything in one night. Doesn't he deserve to be cut some slack and treated to some TLC? Plus, isn't Stuart doing him a favor by keeping his mum company? Not cool, Howard.
Excuse me.
Ma, you are canceling that check, and Stuart is not your bubbler. I'm your bubbler. You can't have more than one bubbler!
Number 3. Being left out of group activities. The scavenger vortex. Stuart holds an exclusive membership to the Left Out Club, a recurring theme in his story. But if they're not going to invite him to the party, isn't it just cruel to bring the party to him?
Hey, thanks for letting me use the comic book store as part of the scavenger hunt.
Oh, my pleasure. Always happy to help out with fun things that I wasn't invited to be a part of.
That doesn't stop Raj from thoughtlessly making the comic book store a pit stop on his scavenger hunt. Ever been left out of a group hang? That sting just sticks around, doesn't it?
So when you guys plan fun activities, does my name even come up, or?
I invited you to my murder mystery party.
No, you didn't.
Fast forward several seasons, and Stuart learns about the group's Vegas trip from Sheldon, who isn't even invited.
This isn't me just wanting to go on the trip to Las Vegas.
What trip to Las Vegas?
Still, he tags along with Sheldon's gate-crashing escapade. The group ultimately forgives Sheldon, while Stuart is left out in the cold. Number 2. Finding out he's a test friend over brunch, the fetal kick catalyst. This is one of the few occasions Stuart does make the guest list, only it's not for the most flattering reasons.
That's an odd mix of people.
Well, for our first time hosting, I thought it would be wise to conduct a trial run. You know, like how I practiced for that Halloween haunted house by going into the bathroom at the bus station.
While he probably did a little happy dance about the invite, Sheldon quickly rains on his parade. Imagine being all excited for a social event, only to find out you're essentially a test subject, there to help smooth things out before the VIPs roll in.
You were the first people we thought of.
You know, exactly. We've never thrown a brunch before, and I wanted to work out all the kinks.
So I'm like a lab rat before your real friends come over?
It's so callous, and we're devastated for him. If that doesn't get you, then you probably felt your heart shatter into a gazillion pieces when he voiced just how much they'd hurt him.
I consider you and Sheldon like my family, and I'm not even sure you think of me as a friend. You have any idea how that feels?
We're so sorry.
I'm always the last one anybody thinks of.
We hope his tipsy love fest with Sheldon somewhat helped ease the pain.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
Number 1. His store burns down. The status quo combustion. Many Big Bang fans will remember the horror and dismay when Sheldon walks into the charred remains of the comic book store.
I was cooking in the back room last night and the hot plate caught on fire.
And you couldn't put it out.
I was across the street at the do-it-yourself car wash taking a shower.
If Stuart thought he'd hit rock bottom before, he really crashed straight through it now.
I don't mean to be rude, Sheldon, but my life is kind of falling apart right now.
As if things weren't bad enough, many folks served him suspicious side eyes, questioning if he'd purposely burned down the place for insurance money. Seriously, in one night the guy loses his livelihood and shelter, and people are still throwing shade. That's just cruel.
Don't take this the wrong way, but did you do this for the insurance money?
No, God, you sound like the police, the firemen, my parents, my therapist, and the insurance company.
Howard steps in with a lifeline while Stuart gets back on his feet. But before then, things were looking pretty bleak. Poor Stuart. He just can't seem to catch a break. Did you cheer for Stuart when things finally started looking up in the last season? When else did you wish the writers would cut him some slack? Let us know in the comments.
Things are finally going my way.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.